Before you scroll, listen. This is not one of those videos you play in the background and forget 5 minutes later. This is for the part of you that has been acting normal while carrying something heavy in silence. The part that answers, "I'm okay," because explaining the truth would take too long and hurt too much. If this reached you tonight or this morning or in that strange quiet moment when your chest suddenly felt full for no clear reason, then stay with me. Do not rush this. Do not half hear it, because something in you has been asking for a sign without using words, and this may be the closest thing to an answer you have allowed yourself to receive. Not because life is dramatic, not because everything means something, but because every now and then a message arrives at the exact moment your soul is too tired to keep pretending it does not need one. And if that is where you are right now, then this is not random. This is timely. This is personal. And the next few minutes may explain a feeling you have been carrying for longer than you can admit, even to yourself. So take one breath. Let the noise fall back for a second. And listen carefully, because this next part matters more than you think. You have been carrying something lately, not the kind of weight people notice right away. Not the kind that gets comfort or sympathy or a long conversation over coffee. I mean the invisible kind, the quiet pressure behind your chest, the tiredness that follows you into the morning. The strange heaviness that sits beside you, even when nothing is technically wrong. You have learned how to function with it. That is why almost nobody sees it. You reply to messages. You show up. You smile when needed. You do what has to be done. But in the small pauses, in the space between one task and the next, in those few seconds when your mind is no longer distracted, the truth returns. And the truth is simple. You are tired. Not weak, not broken, not failing. Just deeply tired. There is a big difference. And I need you to hear that without arguing with it. Because the story you have been telling yourself about this tiredness is incomplete. You made it mean something is wrong with you. But what if it means you have been strong for too long in places no one ever thanked you for? What if it means you have been carrying emotional weight with no witness, no language for it, and no real place to set it down? Stay with me, because once you understand that, everything else starts to look different. You have been doing more inner work than you give yourself credit for. Maybe it did not look impressive. Maybe nobody clapped. Maybe it was not the kind of progress you could post, explain, or prove. But it still counts. The message you did not send counted. The night you stayed with your feelings instead of running from them counted. The morning you got out of bed when your mind begged you not to counted. The moment you chose silence over chaos, distance over disrespect, truth over comfort, that counted too. And I know part of you keeps dismissing these things because they were small. But healing is often small while it is happening. It looks ordinary from the outside. It looks like someone brushing their teeth after crying. It looks like someone going to work with a storm in their chest and still being kind. It looks like someone sitting alone and refusing to betray themselves one more time just to feel chosen for a few minutes. That is not nothing. That is real strength. That is rebuilding. Slow, private, unglamorous rebuilding. And the part of you that feels exhausted right now is not the part of you that is losing. It is the part of you that has been carrying too much for too long without relief. So if you have been secretly judging yourself for not being brighter, lighter, stronger, faster, stop for a moment. You are not late. You are not doing this wrong. You are in the middle of a process that is changing you from the inside out. There is also something else going on, and I think you already feel it. You have been trying to figure out your life with your mind alone, but this season cannot be solved only by thinking harder. There is a version of your future you have been holding quietly. Maybe it is about love. Maybe it is about closure. Maybe it is about becoming someone you can finally recognize when you look in the mirror. You have not fully let go of it, but you have not fully trusted it either. You have been holding it the way people hold fragile things, carefully, privately, almost guiltily. And lately you have been asking yourself a difficult question in the quietest part of your mind. Am I holding on because this is real, or because I am afraid to let it go? That question has been living in you for a while now. And it is not a bad sign. It is not proof that your heart is confused beyond repair. It is proof that discernment is being born inside you. You are learning the difference between hope that feeds your spirit and attachment that drains your life. That lesson is not clean. It does not come in one perfect insight. It comes in waves, in circles, in moments of clarity followed by nights of doubt. It comes when you think you are finally done, and then one memory, one dream, one song, one silence pulls everything back to the surface. That does not mean you failed. It means the lesson is still working its way through you. Right now, you may feel like you are standing in between two lives. The old one is behind you, even if part of you still turns around to look at it. The new one is ahead, even if you cannot fully touch it yet. And the doorway between them is exhausting. That is where many people give up on themselves. Not at the beginning, not at the end, in the middle, in the in-between. Because the in-between is uncomfortable in a very specific way. It gives you no clean answers. It does not reward you quickly. It does not let you return to who you were, and it does not let you become who you are becoming overnight. It asks you to live without certainty for a while. It asks you to trust change before there is proof. It asks you to keep showing up while your identity is being rearranged in rooms of your soul you cannot even see. That is why this part feels so strange. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening, but inside, everything is moving. Your standards are changing. Your nervous system is learning. Your heart is becoming less available to what hurts it and more available to what is true. Your inner world is reorganizing itself, and because it is happening slowly, you keep mistaking it for stagnation. But listen carefully. You are not stuck. You are in formation. This is not the end of your story slowing down. This is the deeper part beginning. And yes, there is probably a person on your mind. Let us not pretend otherwise. There is someone whose name still touches a place in you that is not fully numb. Sometimes you feel fine, and then out of nowhere, something small opens that space again. A certain hour of the night, a certain sentence, a certain street, a certain kind of light in a room. And suddenly, they are there again, not physically, but emotionally, like a memory with a pulse. If that is true for you, hear me clearly. This message is not telling you to wait. It is not telling you to build your life around somebody else's timing. It is not giving false hope, it is giving perspective. People do not simply walk away from what was real and remain untouched by it. They may distract themselves, they may avoid it, they may act certain. They may even convince others they have moved on without a second thought. But what is real does not disappear just because someone refuses to name it. It changes shape. It goes underground. It becomes part of their inner weather. And even if they never say it out loud, real connection leaves a mark. Especially when it met them in a season where they were hiding from themselves. You may have represented truth to someone who was more comfortable with distance. You may have brought presence into a life built on control. And if that is so, your absence does not vanish inside them. It works in silence. It asks questions they cannot easily outrun. Still, this part is important, so do not skip over it. Their process is not your home. Their confusion is not your identity. Their silence is not your value. You cannot build peace by waiting for somebody else to become emotionally honest. You cannot pause your becoming until another person catches up to the lesson life is trying to teach them. That is not love. That is self-abandonment wearing a hopeful face. And you have done enough of that already. The version of you that is trying to rise now needs your energy back, needs your attention back, needs your loyalty back. Because the more your life stays organized around whether someone returns, understands, apologizes, or awakens, the less room there is for your own life to fully begin. And your life is trying to begin. Quietly, yes. Slowly, yes. But truly, there is a stronger self inside you right now asking to be chosen more consistently than your fantasies have been chosen. That does not mean you stop feeling. It does not mean you become cold. It means you stop building your inner world around absence. You stop making someone else's unfinished growth the center of your days. You return to your body, your work, your peace, your future, your standards, your joy. And once you do that, something changes. Not always outside first, but inside, absolutely. You become less available to confusion, less hypnotized by mixed signals, less willing to call pain destiny just because it felt intense. The strange thing about real transformation is that it rarely feels dramatic while it is happening. Most of the time it feels like stillness, like nothing is moving, like your prayers are hanging in the air unanswered, like the life you want is taking too long to find you. But deep change often grows in silence first. It grows while your habits are being challenged, while your illusions are losing power, while the version of you that accepted crumbs is slowly fading out. And there is pressure in that, a real pressure. That is why some days feel heavy for no clear reason. That is why you can be doing all the right things and still feel emotionally raw. Something is being made stronger in you, and strengthening is not always comfortable. Sometimes it feels like boredom. Sometimes it feels like grief. Sometimes it feels like loneliness with no obvious cause. Sometimes it feels like going backward when you are actually becoming less available to what once controlled you. This is why you must be careful with your own interpretation. Not every low moment means you are losing ground. Not every quiet season means life forgot about you. Not every delay means denial. Some pauses are preparation. Some silences are structure. Some closed doors are not punishments. They are protection while your heart learns what it can no longer afford to call love. If that hits something in you, stay with me. Because the next shift starts when you stop asking why everything feels so slow and start asking what this season is training in you. It is training your discernment. It is training your patience. It is training your ability to sit in truth without immediately trying to escape into fantasy, distraction, or false certainty. And that matters more than you know. Because anybody can say they want peace, but not everybody is willing to become peaceful inside. Anybody can say they want deep love, but not everybody is willing to release the patterns that make deep love impossible to receive. Anybody can ask for a better life, but not everybody is willing to outgrow the identity built around hurt.